The following conversation is going to be triggering for many of you. Today's topic, we're going to discuss things that often go unsaid but need to be heard. Viewer discretion is advised. What's that saying that they keep saying in the red pill community or the men's community over here on YouTube? The wall is undefeated. The wall is undefeated. And you know what, ladies? I'm going to have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, it kind of is. It kind of is, right? And for those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, thank God. But I'm going to break it down for you, okay? So there's this theory, called the wall. And everyone has a wall. Men have a wall. Women have walls, right? But specifically when we're talking about women, the wall is this state of being where, basically speaking, you are out of the sexual market value and nobody wants you anymore, right? Your sexual market value is like tanked through the floor and you should be banished off into oblivion past the age of 25. Now, I'm being a bit facetious, but I want to break this down because I think that this idea and this way of thinking is stressful for a lot of women out there. And, I'm really the type of person who listens to rhetoric, who considers rhetoric, who looks and see where things might, I feel, apply to me and apply them accordingly. And then throughout the rest that I feel doesn't much apply to me. But you don't hear a lot of women kind of talking about this idea about the wall because so many women find it to be so offensive. But the thing is, ladies, it's actually a true thing. Now, I want to get into the conversation today about how you, as a woman who's going to hit the wall, because listen, ladies, the wall is simply aging. That's all it is, really, when you really break it down. And there are two walls, actually, that I want to discuss and the difference between the two and how one of them you actually have a lot of control over. And I want to give you some tips today. We're going to talk about 5 things that you can do to help to keep yourself from slamming into that other proverbial wall. Now, before we do, though, I want to welcome you here to my channel, particularly if you are brand new. Make sure that, honey, you subscribe right now because you don't want to miss any of this crazy, okay? I talk about all kinds of things, fitness, social stuff, like all kinds of stuff, and just really how you can use this information to enrich yourself in your journey to better health and better fitness. So subscribe right now, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell notifications and set it to all notifications so that way you don't miss a single video. If you are a returning subscriber, honey, you know the mess we get into over here. So I just want to welcome you back. I wanted to welcome you back. I keep hitting the desk and everything like that. I want to welcome you back. And make sure that you give this video a thumbs up right now, especially if you'd like me to talk about more of these controversial, uncomfortable topics and give you another way of looking at it. And if you're a woman out there who's looking to change her body, take her fitness to the next level, and just enhance your life, step truly into your womanhood, I've got 2 things for you. The first thing is going to be an ebook that I want you to pick up that I wrote totally for free. I'm going to tell you about that at the end of this video. And then I'll tell you how you and I can work together if you know that you're actually ready to take some action, get some coaching, get some real help. So enough of this mind dribble, honey. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So before I get into the 5 tips that I want to talk about today, I said to you a moment ago that there are 2 walls, and I'm going to break those down for you. Now, let's talk about the first wall. The first wall is a biological wall, and it is a wall that no woman will ever be able to outrun or able to stop, okay? Now, when we talk about the biological wall, we're basically talking about your fertility as a woman. A woman reaches peak fertility around the age of 25 years old, okay? And so that's why when you hear a lot of talk in the other spaces about 25 being that wall age, that's where it kind of comes from. But I feel like the conversation is not complete when we don't talk about the second wall, which is actually the physical wall. And that is a real thing. And as women, we actually have a lot of control over our physical wall to a great degree. Now, there are some examples of women who are beating that physical wall every single day. For instance, we got a woman like Nicole Murphy, who's like 50 something years old, right? She has hit the wall, the biological wall. She likely cannot have any more kids. But if you look at her body, man, that woman is incredible. Beautiful specimen of woman, right? She's been able to preserve her youthfulness to a great degree. Of course, you're going to lose some of that as you get older. There's no way you can get around that. But the wall, when we talk about the physical aspects of it, is about that. So let's break it down. So what is the physical wall? The physical wall is how you look. And in that sense, like the things that draw people in, and I started to notice this, it's funny because I didn't notice these things when I was like physically as a model or an actress and stuff like that, right? When I was actually in the industry doing that stuff, but on the outside looking in now, as someone who doesn't do this anymore, I notice how much of media image is really focused on what? Youth, right? Youth and beauty. Youth and beauty. And everything that we're surrounded by, from music to advertisements to television, is really geared towards youthfulness. So the physical wall is about preserving that youthfulness. Now, as I said to you, it's impossible for you to completely stop time. So you're going to age and it's going to show. But you have a great amount of control about how much that aging process is going to show on your body and how well you're going to be able to beat that quote unquote physical wall, ladies. And for those of you who are single out there, because I know I have a lot of women out there who find me from different channels. Maybe you were searching through some channels that are about relationships and like femininity or leveling up. And then I popped up with myself. So I know that there are some of you out there who are looking to attract a mate and to have companionship, to date and get out there in the world. And if we're going to be quite honest, the ones who are physically attractive get the most attention, right? When you're a beautiful woman or you're a pretty woman, you're someone who's attractive, attracting people to you isn't actually a hard thing, okay? So everybody wants that coveted physical beauty, right? So the physical wall is a real thing, ladies. And on today, like I said, I have 5 things that I want to talk to you about today to help you to preserve and prolong the aging of your physical wall. So let's go ahead and talk about tip number 1. So the first thing, and I feel like this as a whole, this video, it's an interesting one, or this conversation is an interesting one because it spans over different ages, right? This first tip, I think, really is geared towards my younger women, my women in their 20s, my women even in their 30s, okay? And that is how well your body preserves is really tied to your fitness. Start now. Start taking care of yourself now, all right? So, ladies, I always say that in order to preserve your body and to really look good and age like fine wine physically, you got to start young and you got to start now. So if you're a woman out there who's in her 20s, now is the perfect time. I really started to pay more attention to being in the gym and working out and pushing myself and lifting weights and doing cardio when I was in my 20s. I mean, up to that point, I was always in the dance studio. I was running outside and stuff like that, but that's more cardio based and it's very specific as well. And of course, it kept me lean and thin. But when I really started to weight train, that's when I really saw my body take off. I was able to build sexy curves that every one of us as women want to have, and sculpt my body in the way that I want it to be. But as I've gotten older, what I realized is that exercise is the true fountain of youth. So if you are able to go ahead and start early, start now, you're going to be way ahead of the game. Now, I have my ladies out there who are older than that. You're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're in your 50s, okay? I see y'all out there watching my videos too. And I want to tell you that it's not too late. Now, the aging process for you already has started to happen. You might see your skin is a little bit different. It's not as tight. You start to lose that collagen. You have more body fat in places that you didn't have before. You got a couple more wrinkles. A lot of that stuff some of it's reversible. You can have the wrinkles taken away to a great degree. You can go ahead and change your body by losing fat. And for some of it, it isn't so reversible. So you really have to work with where you are. Now, the thing about it is that if you're just talking about improving your body and just really honing that physique that you want, you can still start now. It's never too late. There's a woman by the name of Ernestine Shepard, and at the recording of this video, I believe she is in her 80s now, okay? And she is known as one of the oldest female bodybuilders out there competing, right? And this woman started when she was in her 40s. And if you look at her now, her body looks great. Of course, she's an older woman. She's a senior citizen and she doesn't look like she did when she was 20. But her shape and her body fat levels and the tonality in her body, even the youthfulness that she has in her face, does not look like that of other women in her age category. So which one are you going to be? You can still do this, ladies, even if you're past the age of 25. past the age of 30. Start now is what you must do. Let's talk about tip number 2. So number 2, you must eat an overall healthy diet. Lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, water, and even supplementation. So a great deal of how well your body preserves itself isn't just working out, but it's what you're putting into it. Because everything that you see on the outside, you are what you eat. Yes, you are indeed. So cleaning up your diet and eating healthy is going to be paramount in preserving your skin, in preserving your body, your shape, body fat levels, and your health in general. Now, I want to say, there's a lot of people who might ask me, Roxy, do I need to be a vegan or vegetarian? Is that the only way that I have to go? No, absolutely not. You can still eat meat and be healthy, guys. It's just about choosing lean cuts of meat, lean cuts of fish, lean cuts of beef, chicken, turkey, even pork, anything that you want. But making sure that you're eating it not only in lean selections, but also portion control over everything. You don't have to stop eating carbohydrates. We talked about not fearing carbs in one of my recent videos. Go ahead over here to the Circle I thing to check that out. You can still eat these things, but you have to learn portion control and how to cook better, how to prepare your foods, to stop eating prepackaged foods. That is the worst thing that you could do. Start cooking more and really taking control in that area in the kitchen. Ladies, let me tell you something. You can do this. It's not that hard. It just takes the choice to be better. Now, I mentioned water and supplementation, okay? When I say water, you can also drink other liquids, but if you're drinking sodas and juices and all that stuff, you need to start to eliminate that. Drink more teas that you might sweeten with stevia or so. Drink more water. Flavored waters are great. Once in a while, having a diet soda or something like that is something I don't mind. I personally like to have a Coke Zero every once in a while with a little spritz of lemon, but that's not something I drink every single day. So make sure that you're hydrating yourself and you are getting your water in. Now, the other thing that I did mention was supplementation, because here's the thing. With the way that our food is processed and grown today, it's not getting all the nutrients that it really needs, or what we would be used to getting back in the day, right? A lot of foods going through GMO and processing and all this other stuff. And if you can't afford eating organic all the time, because I know that can be a little bit more expensive, that's fine. Go ahead and buy regular fruits and vegetables from the grocery store and make sure that you're taking a multivitamin every day. I would also say that you should be looking into taking fish oil caps, because fish oil is fantastic, okay? And if you can't take fish oil because you're a vegetarian or vegan, then they have algae pills and all these other things that have really great omega-3 fatty acids, okay? So look into that. Another thing that you ladies need to do, a lot of you need to keep up with your iron supplementation. You also need to keep up with your vitamin D, keeping healthy fats in the diet by way of avocados, by way of cheese, by way of oils like olive oil and coconut oil and stuff like that. Learn nutrition, ladies, and gentlemen too. But of course, because we're talking about the wall, we're talking about my ladies here, physical wall. Learn nutrition and the power of food, because that's what's truly going to set you free. Let's talk about number 3. You must get rid of bad vices. Oh boy. Excessive drinking, smoking, tanning, and partying. Ladies, so many of you are smoking cigarettes, which is just totally, not only is it bad for your skin and it gives you wrinkles, but it's horrible for your lungs. You got to stop that. Some of you drink excessively, and that's a problem in and of itself, especially if you're starting to go into areas of addiction, right? Having a glass of wine here and there with dinner, not a problem at all. But if you're drinking cocktails and this and that, too much, it goes straight to your stomach too. So now you got belly fat to deal with on top of all of that, right? And it ages your skin, ages your liver. It's not really good for you. Partying and all that other stuff. You're being out there all weekend. Well, now that we have this pandemic going on, you ain't going nowhere. But for those of you that are in states and cities where you can, partying, this, that, the other. Ladies, you got to stop. You got to stop it. Especially if this stuff is important to you. You see, your fitness is not just about being in the gym. Fitness is about life. Fitness is about how you're living life. because you got to walk it. You got to talk it. You got to be it. It's not just about showing up at that gym, because you do all that work, you start eating right, but then you don't live in it every single day. Like, you don't walk in it. See, I walk in it. I breathe in it. It seeps out of my pores. And that's why I can stand before you and share these points, because I know, because this is my life. Ladies, you got to start doing things for you and living the life, not just acting on it, living the life. So cut back on the smoking, cut back on the drinking, cut back on the partying, cut back on the sun exposure, and see how much better your skin is going to be. Let's talk about the next point. Sleep, sleep, and more sleep. De-stress your life. One of the biggest poisons when it comes to aging is created right in your own body, and that is stress. Stress and elevated cortisol levels, which really have a number on your adrenal system. And so, ladies, you learning how to balance your life, learning how to unwind, learning how to give yourself time to recover, time to think, time to clear your head, time to be able to focus on the greater aspects of your life, so that way you can keep stress low, is so important in the process. Stress accounts for so much weight gain with a lot of women. Those cortisol levels go up, then you start getting the belly fat. If you're drinking alcohol and that other stuff, that also aggrandizes it. Now your body is feeling gross, you're tired, you have no energy, you've got all of this body fat on you that you can't move. And if you just make one simple change of learning how to de-stress, boom, it starts to get a lot better. A lot of the things that I tell you ladies about is really choices at the end of the day. It's choices to live a certain way. Choices to change your life. Are you making the right choice is the question. And let's talk about the final tip for today. Tip number 5, keep on top of your hormonal levels. Honey, stay drama-free. So I talked about the stress part, the drama-free is part of that whole stress, part. But your hormones are also what's always at play when we're talking about factors of the wall. All right. And the truth of the matter is, ladies, is that you can't stop the process of aging. Again, you can slow it down. And you can always make sure that your body is at optimal levels. Now, how do you do that? You've got to make sure to go to your doctors and get tested, requesting lab reports. Now, I talked about hormones several times on my channel. Go ahead right here to the circle I thing, click that so you can see the videos where I talked about what you need to ask your doctor for. For so many of you, your bodies are in a state of just imbalance. Everything's all over the place. The weight's not coming off. You're tired. You're looking older and older because you're not taking care of yourself. Your hormone levels are off. And your body is screaming at you for you to do something, to get help, to fix it. You have the power to change it. You have the power to walk up to that wall, honey, and scale that baby, throw your leg on the edge and just start walking on it, walking on the edge over there like you're in control. You have the power to do that, but you've got to take control of your body and your narrative. Ladies, the wall is a real thing. It truly is. The biological wall, you can never stop. That's going to slow down, and your fertility is going to come to a screeching halt. Now, the physical wall, as we talked about today, now that's under your control to a great degree. Yeah, you're going to lose your youth. You're going to lose, that fertility that comes with, that gives you that glow that young women have. You're going to lose it. But you don't have to lose your beauty. That you have complete control of.